My father has always understood that people of all faiths, all backgrounds, and all communities deserve to be celebrated and supported.
For years, the royal family has lived under constant scrutiny, but few moments feel as chilling as sudden medical alerts from inside the palace. Just minutes ago, palace doctors reportedly delivered an urgent update that sent shockwaves through royal corridors and left Prince William visibly shaken. The news was swift, tightly controlled, and deeply unsettling. Whispers spread, staff went silent, and protocol shifted instantly. So what prompted this emergency briefing, and why does it threaten to change everything the monarchy is bracing itself for right now? The message of hope from the palace. A spokesperson for Buckingham Palace offered a reassuring update that brought a wave of relief to many across the country and beyond. According to the palace, the king has been responding exceptionally well to treatment, a phrase that quietly but confidently points to steady progress and renewed hope. Rather than keeping this positive news private, the king made a deliberate decision to share it with the public, using his own experience as a powerful reminder of the importance of early health checks, especially cancer screenings. The palace explained that His Majesty wished to highlight the positive trajectory of his continued recovery, not simply as a personal update, but as a message of encouragement. By doing so, he hoped to inspire others not to ignore their health or postpone medical advice. The underlying message was clear and compassionate. Early action can make a real difference, and seeking help is an act of strength, not fear. While the king's recovery is going well, doctors are taking no chances. The spokesperson noted that medical experts have advised that treatment will now move into what they described as a precautionary phase. This means that although the most critical steps have been successfully handled, careful measures will remain in place to ensure that progress is protected. His health, they stressed, will continue to be closely watched, with regular assessments and reviews designed to support a full and lasting recovery. Every decision, according to the palace, is being made with one priority in mind: safeguarding the king's well-being. This cautious but hopeful approach reflects both medical wisdom and personal responsibility. It shows that recovery is not just about getting better quickly, but about staying well over time. The palace emphasized that the situation will be continuously monitored, adjusted where necessary, and guided by expert advice. In short, optimism is balanced with care. Beyond official statements, those closest to the king paint an even warmer picture. Friends who spoke to Vanity Fair described him as being in good spirits and enjoying strong health. One close friend went further, sharing that the king is on wonderful form, a phrase that suggests not only physical improvement, but also emotional strength and renewed energy. According to this source, His Majesty is genuinely looking forward to the Christmas season, a detail that adds a personal and human touch to the update. This anticipation of Christmas is particularly meaningful. For many, the festive period represents family, reflection, and hope. And for the king, it appears to symbolize a return to normal rhythms after a challenging time. The idea that he is looking ahead with enthusiasm suggests confidence, gratitude, and a sense of calm after months of uncertainty. Taken together, these updates tell a story that goes beyond medical facts. They reveal a leader who is not only recovering, but also choosing to use his experience to help others. By openly acknowledging his health journey, the king has turned a private struggle into a public message of awareness, resilience, and responsibility. There is also something deeply reassuring in the tone of the palace's words. Phrases like "exceptionally well," "positive trajectory," and "good spirits" offer comfort without exaggeration. At the same time, the careful emphasis on precaution and monitoring reminds everyone that healing is a process, not a finish line. In the end, This update leaves the public with a sense of quiet confidence. The king is recovering well, surrounded by expert care, supported by loved ones, and approaching the future with hope. As Christmas draws near, the picture that emerges is one of steady healing, thoughtful leadership, and a renewed reminder to all: health matters, vigilance saves lives, and even in difficult moments, there is room for optimism. Was the king himself able to speak to the public? What was his mode of communication since the beginning of his cancer treatment? Let's delve into the details of the king's message as he receives less treatments amidst renewed hope. The king's message of strength. Recently, King Charles III offered the clearest and most detailed update yet about his health since he revealed his cancer diagnosis in February 2024. The message, which was pre-recorded and later broadcast during Stand Up to Cancer's 2025 program on the UK television network Channel 4, carried a tone of relief, gratitude, and quiet optimism. For many who have closely followed his journey, the announcement marked a hopeful turning point. In the message, the king shared what he described as good news. After months of consistent medical care, his doctors have decided that his cancer treatment schedule can now be reduced in the coming year. This means that the intensive routine he has been following since his diagnosis will ease, allowing for fewer treatment sessions going forward. While the king did not go into medical detail, the significance of this update was clear. It was a positive step forward in a journey that has not been easy. Speaking calmly and with humility, King Charles explained that the progress he has made is largely due to three key factors: early detection, effective medical treatment, and his careful obedience to medical advice. He emphasized that catching the illness early made a major difference, allowing doctors to act swiftly and decisively. He also acknowledged the role of modern medicine, noting that advances in cancer care over recent years have transformed outcomes for many patients, including himself. This milestone, the king said, is not only a personal blessing, but also proof of how far cancer treatment has come. His words reflected both relief and appreciation, not just for his own improving condition, but for the scientific progress that continues to save lives across the world. Before this message, palace sources had only briefly described the king's cancer as a managed condition, offering little detail. This broadcast therefore stood out as the first full public update on his health since March 2025, when he was briefly hospitalized after experiencing side effects from treatment. According to reports from Sky News, King Charles has been receiving weekly treatment since his diagnosis last year, making this reduction in frequency a meaningful development. The video message itself was recorded late last month at Clarence House, one of the king's official residences. The setting was calm and dignified, matching the thoughtful tone of his words. Rather than focusing solely on himself, King Charles used the opportunity to turn attention toward those who have supported him throughout his illness. He expressed deep gratitude to the medical professionals who have cared for him since his diagnosis: doctors, nurses, researchers, and support staff who work behind the scenes every day. Drawing from his own experience, the king spoke honestly about how overwhelming a cancer diagnosis can feel at first. The uncertainty, the fear, and the many unanswered questions can weigh heavily on any patient, regardless of status or position. What stood out most in his message was his description of what he called a community of care. He explained that throughout his treatment, he has been deeply moved by the network of people who dedicate their lives to helping cancer patients. From highly trained specialists and compassionate nurses to researchers pushing the boundaries of science and volunteers offering comfort and support, he acknowledged that no one faces cancer alone. By sharing his story in this way, King Charles not only reassured the public about his own progress, but also highlighted a larger message of hope and solidarity. His update served as a reminder of the importance of early diagnosis, the power of modern medicine, and the human kindness that surrounds those battling serious illness. In a few measured words, the king managed to turn a personal health update into a message of encouragement for countless others walking a similar path. How did Prince William react to King Charles's update? Was he sincerely happy about it? Let's dive into the details of William's reaction to the news of his father's improved health. William's shattered world. Stepping closer to the center of the storm, a far more human story comes into view. At its core stands Prince William, caught in a moment that feels like the collapse of his inner world. This is a man the public knows as calm, steady, and disciplined. The former air ambulance pilot who once flew straight into danger to pull strangers back from the edge of death. Yet now, behind palace doors, that same man is struggling to stay upright, leaning against cold stone walls as though they are the only things keeping him from falling apart. His breathing comes in short, uneven bursts. His eyes close tight as devastating updates land one after another with no mercy. For all his training, privilege, and experience, there is one thing William cannot do: take control. And that helplessness cuts deeper than any physical danger ever did. He has faced cameras, criticism, and crushing expectations since childhood. He has buried his mother under the gaze of the entire world. Still, nothing prepares a person for the slow, terrifying uncertainty of watching a loved one suffer while waiting on doctors' words that never sound hopeful enough. The past refuses to stay buried. Memories from 1997 return without warning, sharp and vivid. The loss of Princess Diana is no longer a distant wound. It feels fresh again, as if time has folded in on itself. The same fear echoes in his chest, the fear of history repeating itself. In quiet moments, away from cameras and courtiers, he confides in trusted friends, his voice trembling as he admits what haunts him most: that his own children could one day feel the same pain he did as a boy. The thought alone is enough to steal the air from his lungs. Sleep becomes a stranger. Nights stretch endlessly, filled with racing thoughts and cruel what-ifs. When he does drift off, it rarely lasts. Nightmares yank him awake, heart pounding, sheets damp with sweat. Morning brings no relief, only another day of waiting. Another round of careful expressions and guarded language from medical professionals. Phrases like aggressive progression and limited time frame circle his mind, replaying long after the meetings end. The strain shows on his body. The prince, once known for his neat appearance, now looks worn and hollow. Meals are skipped. Coffee replaces rest. His eyes carry the dull weight of exhaustion, and his movements seem slower, heavier, as if each step requires effort. Yet even this physical decline is overshadowed by the emotional balancing act he performs every single day. William is not just a man in crisis. He is a husband, a father, and a future king, all at once. In late-night meetings that drag on until dawn, those roles collide. One moment, his voice breaks, raw with fear and sadness. The next, it hardens with purpose as he asks questions, makes plans, and takes notes. Vulnerability and resolve sit side by side, neither allowed to fully take over. Above all else, his children remain his focus. Protecting George, Charlotte, and Louis becomes a quiet mission he carries alone. He works carefully to keep life normal for them. School runs continue, family dinners happen, laughter is encouraged. He becomes an expert at smiling through the ache, making sure their young faces never fully see the storm raging just beyond their world. Their innocence, however, makes the silence louder. They sense something is wrong, even if no one says it aloud. The palace itself changes. Once a place of tradition and comfort, it now feels like a sealed-off stronghold. Certain wings are closed. Rooms are transformed into medical spaces filled with softly beeping machines and low voices. Security tightens. Movement becomes restricted, and an eerie quiet settles in. Inside these walls, time seems frozen, measured only by updates and waiting. Outside, speculation runs wild. Headlines guess, rumors spread, and the public searches for meaning in every small sign. Inside, a prince endures a deeply personal fire, alone in a golden cage, carrying a burden no title can lift, fighting to hold his family together while the world watches from a distance. Why was William so much disturbed? Why the entitlement? When and how did the entitlement grow so wild? Let's dig into the details of when King Charles's cancer treatment started. A test of strength. The palace has confirmed that King Charles III has been diagnosed with cancer, though the exact type has not been made public. What is known, however, is that it is not prostate cancer, even though the illness was discovered during recent medical treatment for an enlarged prostate. This unexpected finding has drawn widespread attention and concern, both within the United Kingdom and across the world. According to the official statement, the king began a course of regular medical treatment on Monday. During this period, he will step back from public-facing duties and official engagements. The palace explained that this pause is necessary to allow him to focus fully on his health and recovery. Despite this temporary withdrawal from public events, those close to the monarch insist that his spirits remain high. At 75 years old, King Charles is said to be approaching his treatment with optimism and determination. The palace emphasized that he is wholly positive about the road ahead and is eager to return to full public duties as soon as doctors allow. This reassurance appears aimed at calming public anxiety, especially given the king's central role in national life and the relatively short time since his coronation. While the announcement confirmed the diagnosis, no further medical details have been released. The palace has chosen not to disclose the stage of the cancer or offer any prognosis. This decision reflects a careful balance between public interest and personal privacy, leaving many questions unanswered while maintaining a respectful silence around the king's health. In a deeply personal move, King Charles personally informed both of his sons about his diagnosis. Prince William, the Prince of Wales, is said to be in regular contact with his father and remains closely involved during this period. Their communication reflects not only a constitutional bond, but also a father and son relationship strengthened by shared concern and responsibility. Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, who currently resides in the United States, also spoke directly with his father following the news. It has been confirmed that he will be traveling to the United Kingdom in the coming days to see the king. This development has drawn particular interest, as it comes amid a long period of distance, both physical and emotional, between the Duke and the royal family. Many see this visit as a moment shaped more by family duty and compassion than by royal protocol. On Monday morning, King Charles returned to London from Sandringham, his Norfolk estate. The palace confirmed that his treatment has already begun, and that it is being carried out on an outpatient basis, meaning he does not need to remain in the hospital overnight. This detail suggests that, at least for now, doctors believe the treatment can be managed without full hospitalization. Although public appearances will be paused, the king will continue fulfilling his constitutional responsibilities as head of state. This includes reviewing official documents, handling state paperwork, and holding private meetings. In particular, his weekly audiences with Prime Minister Rishi Sunak are expected to continue in person, unless medical advice suggests that such contact should be limited. Behind the scenes, the United Kingdom has well-established constitutional arrangements to ensure stability should the monarch become unable to carry out official duties. In such cases, appointed counselors of state can temporarily act on behalf of the sovereign. While there is no indication that this step is currently necessary, its existence serves as a quiet reassurance that the system remains prepared for any outcome. For now, the palace's message is clear. The king is receiving care, remaining hopeful, and continuing his role where possible. As the nation watches and waits, the focus remains on his recovery and a hopeful return to public life in the near future. At what point did William's confidence in the succession reach its peak? Did the public find him worthy? Let's talk about William's path to the throne. Prince William takes the reins. The Prince of Wales, 42, is reportedly stepping firmly into the spotlight, taking on greater authority as his father, King Charles, battles cancer. According to a new report, William is increasingly seizing power within the royal family, preparing for the day he will inherit the throne. Those close to the palace suggest that the prince is more determined than ever to shape the future of the monarchy and to make strategic decisions that will safeguard its long-term stability. Sources claim that William has never been more influential than he is right now. Far from waiting in the wings, the heir apparent is said to be actively asserting his opinions and taking charge of important matters concerning the firm, the royal family, and its operations. He is making decisions that he genuinely believes will benefit the crown over the long term, one insider told the outlet. This is not simply about stepping into his father's shoes temporarily. It appears William is quietly laying the groundwork for a modern, efficient, and respected monarchy. As King Charles, 76, continues his ongoing cancer treatment, the responsibility on William's shoulders seems to have grown substantially. The king is reportedly entrusting his son with more and more duties, signaling that his time on the throne may be shorter than some expected. Observers suggest that Charles is consciously preparing William to lead, allowing him to gain hands-on experience in managing both the family's affairs and its public image. According to the source, he's giving William more responsibility and, by all accounts, is acknowledging that his son's reign could begin sooner rather than later. Central to William's current focus is restoring the royal family's reputation, which has faced serious challenges over recent years. Public confidence in the monarchy took a hit following the multiple controversies surrounding the Duke of York and the dramatic departure of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex from royal life. William is said to be determined to bring stability, dignity, and transparency back to the firm. Reputation management is at the top of his agenda, with the prince keenly aware that public support is critical for the monarchy's survival in a rapidly changing world. Financial prudence is another area where William is reportedly making his mark. Sources suggest he wants to tighten the royal purse strings, carefully monitor expenditures, and eliminate unnecessary spending across the firm. This new approach may pose challenges for certain members of the family, particularly Andrew, who has relied on William's financial support since 2019. An insider explained, William wants expenses to be monitored closely and any fat trimmed straight away. He doesn't want there to be any sense that special perks are being handed out to the royals. The prince's hands-on approach reflects a vision of a monarchy that is more accountable, disciplined, and in tune with the expectations of the public it serves. Those familiar with the situation describe William's rise as both deliberate and strategic. He is reportedly using this period to learn the nuances of leadership, balancing tradition with modernization, and ensuring that the monarchy remains relevant in today's world. While some may view his actions as assertive or even ambitious, insiders suggest that William's motivation stems from a deep sense of duty and responsibility rather than personal gain. His efforts to oversee the royal finances, guide key decisions, and shape the family's image indicate a prince who is not only preparing to inherit the crown, but is also determined to leave a lasting, positive legacy. Experts note that William's increasing influence reflects a broader trend within the monarchy, where younger members are being given more responsibility as senior royals face health challenges or retreat from public life. By stepping up now, William is gaining invaluable experience and positioning himself as a decisive, forward-thinking leader ready to face the challenges of the modern monarchy. In the coming months, observers expect William to continue expanding his role within the firm, making difficult choices about finances, image, and family matters. His approach is being closely watched by both royal insiders and the public, as the next chapter in Britain's monarchy begins to take shape. With King Charles focusing on his health, the Prince of Wales appears determined to ensure that when the crown eventually passes to him, It does so into steady, capable hands, hands that aim to restore public trust, uphold royal dignity, and safeguard the institution for generations to come. Did King Charles condone his son's entitlement? Was he angered by it? How did Charles react to the succession rumors? Let's find out. King Charles's reaction to succession rumors. Whispers and speculations surrounding the British royal family never seem to fade, and in recent months, one subject has captured attention more than most: the future of the monarchy and Prince William's eventual succession to the throne. According to royal insiders, discussions about this transition have left King Charles feeling not thrilled. King Charles, who ascended the throne in 2022 after the passing of his beloved mother, Queen Elizabeth II, had long prepared for this moment. For decades, he patiently waited for the day he would finally become monarch, a role he has been groomed for since childhood. Yet, after taking on the crown, his focus quickly shifted from anticipation to concern, especially following a health scare that emerged in 2024. The king was diagnosed with cancer, a revelation that sent ripples of worry throughout the kingdom. During his treatment, he stepped back from many of his royal responsibilities to concentrate fully on his recovery, showing a side of vulnerability rarely seen in someone in his position. It was during this period of personal struggle that speculation about abdication and the possibility of Prince William taking over the throne began to swirl more intensely. Rumors suggested that the king might consider stepping aside, creating an opportunity for William, the Prince of Wales, to become monarch sooner than anticipated. For King Charles, who had waited a lifetime for this role, these conversations reportedly did not sit well. Insiders shared with us weekly, as reported by Sky News, that the king doesn't feel great about it, explaining that after years of preparation and expectation, he is finally in the position he has always dreamed of. Yet now that he is king, the world's eyes are already turning to the next in line. Despite the whispers of tension, another source paints a more collaborative picture of the relationship between King Charles and his eldest son. According to this insider, Prince William operates his own office and has a dedicated staff separate from the king. Yet the two work closely together on matters of royal importance. The source emphasizes that Charles has full confidence in William's ability to fulfill the responsibilities of the monarchy, saying, "Charles believes William will do an incredible job as king, and he's very supportive. When they don't agree, William respects his father's decisions." This mutual respect suggests that beneath the surface of media speculation, there is a solid partnership and understanding between father and son. Adding another layer of intrigue, it seems that the Prince of Wales and his wife, Catherine, the Princess of Wales, are quietly preparing for a future in which William takes the throne. According to insiders, the couple has begun conceptualizing a new monarchy that could streamline operations and modernize certain aspects of royal life. Discussions reportedly include reducing the size of the royal household, often referred to as the firm, to have fewer people, and in turn, less drama. This forward-looking approach suggests that William and Kate are eager to leave their own mark on the monarchy, balancing tradition with a contemporary vision that could appeal to a modern public. The royal family has always been the subject of intense public fascination, and moments like these, health challenges, succession rumors, and the quiet planning of a future king and queen, only deepen that interest. King Charles's personal journey from waiting heir to reigning monarch, coupled with his recent health struggles, adds a humanizing element to the centuries-old institution. Meanwhile, the careful steps taken by William and Kate hint at a monarchy ready to evolve while respecting its storied past. As the world watches, one thing is clear: the next chapter of the British monarchy is being written behind palace walls, where duty, family loyalty, and vision for the future collide. King Charles may have achieved the crown he spent decades pursuing, but the whispers about succession and the planning of the new generation ensure that the story of the royal family continues to captivate the public imagination. So, Do you think William deserves to feel so entitled to the crown? We would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe.